Y'all, what it is? What's up? How are you guys doing? I hope you guys are well. Answer me back in the comments. I always ask how you guys are doing or say something, and it's like they can't talk back to you, but you can because there's a comment section. So leave me some comments. But as you guys see, I'm in the car heading to work, the usual. And I decided to do like a little car chat thing because I haven't done one in a while. Probably like a month, almost 2 months, I want to say. Yeah, because it was before I moved, so it's been a little while. So yeah, so the other day I wrote a blog post, and oh man, I hope you guys can see me because I know the sun is like, this lighting is off, and I apologize, but just hear me out, y'all can hear me. The other day I wrote a blog post, which I will link below, and it was on, you know, how I've been feeling, and some of the things that I've been going through, which I had already put in the video as well. So, not everything, but some of the stuff. I had wrote in my last, said in my last video, and I wrote a blog post. And the blog post was simply talking about, and feel free to read it, please read it, because I'm not gonna summarize everything in here, but basically the blog post touched on David and how I am David and you are David and we are all David, because David was a jacked up mess, okay? And I feel like we are the David generation. Hear me out, because if you look at David's life, okay, David is one of the most talked about people in the Bible. I almost called him a character, but he's not a character, he's an actual person. He is one of the most talked about people in the Bible, and to me he was one of the most jacked up. You gotta think about it. He done killed somebody with somebody's wife and got her pregnant, okay? He just did some dumb stuff where you be like, come on David, man, get your life together. And if you really look at, let's say, my life, okay, and I don't know what you've been through in your life, but maybe this can touch you as well. I've done some dumb stuff in my life, some jacked up things in my life, and I look at God and I say, God, well, how can you still use me if I keep messing up, even up until now? Like, there's certain tests that I have been literally going through for years, and it's like, Lex, come on, let's pass this test this time, and my flesh gets the best of me every single time. And it's like, how are you still relying on me? How are you still trying to use me to reach other people when I can't even pass a little small simple test and get it together? And then when we don't pass these tests, we get upset and we feel like we're unqualified, and then we stop moving in the gifts that God has given us because we're like, no, we can't minister to other folk because we're jacked up, okay? And for me, I look at David and I'm like, look at all the Psalms David wrote. Look, he was the king. Like, he was pulled out the field, and he was, first of all, picked over as a young child. His daddy didn't even want him to be in the lineup. Like, come on, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, David didn't live this bright, perfect life. If anything, he was rejected. He did some dumb stuff. He liked the ladies. He was everything that this generation embodies. And it's just like, y'all, look at how God used David. Honestly though, like, look at how he used him. Like, he specifically picked him because another king wasn't doing what he had to do. And it's like, well, dang, this king was jacked up, and then you brought in somebody else who was jacked up just in another way. But every time he did wrong, where did he run back to? He ran right back to God. He didn't stop chasing God. He didn't stop going after his heart. David was known as the man after God's own heart. And it's like, how can this man be after God's own heart when he's sleeping with other people's wives? He's out here being a jacked up mess. Yeah, he's the king. Yeah, he's ruling, but he's making mess ups here, left and right. He's half the time ruling out of his emotions. And it's like, well, what makes me any different? What makes you any different? What gives you the thought that you cannot do the things that God has called you to do because Sorry, y'all, my phone fell. But what has given you the thought that you cannot do the things that God has called you to do because you can't get it together? What if God wants to use that brokenness and that and the jacked up parts in your life to help somebody out? And I'm not giving this excuse for you to stay where you are, because by no means am I saying that at all. We should always be evolving, always moving forward. But I'm saying, don't let your mess ups stop you from doing the things that God has called you to do. Don't let your mess ups cause you to bow out and go back into your own seclusion because you didn't get everything right. Don't think that God is just going to snatch you out because of your mess ups. No, he wants you to come forward and come forth and do what you have to do. And a lot of us think, because we see and hear everybody else saying, oh no, you didn't do this right, or you don't have it all together, or you don't dress like this, you don't walk like this, you don't talk like this, that you're not qualified. Absolutely, you are qualified. That's what makes you qualified. I'm just sick of this generation being told what we cannot do and what we are not worthy of because we don't walk, talk, and look like the previous generation, or we don't walk, talk, and look like the people of the Bible. When you really, really begin to study and look at the Bible, these people were all jacked up in some kind of way. Everybody had a story and everybody had a mess. And I just say all this to say, once again, like, don't back down. Like, don't let your times, if you have been in a dark place, if you have been going through seasons where you feel like you just want to stop doing everything that you're doing, or you have messed up, or you are uncertain about a lot of things, don't use this time as a time to run from God and run from your gifts and run from your calling. If anything, dive head first into those things and use this time of uncertainty, use this time of hurt and pain to move forward. When David was in his darkest hours, what did he do? He wrote Psalms that have gotten me out of my darkest hours. What if he would have just stayed there and backed down and just cried and didn't cry out to God, but just cried to himself and felt bad for himself? And yeah, there were times where he was like, oh, pity me, everybody hates me, everybody wants me to die and stuff like that. But who was he talking to? He was talking to God. He wasn't sitting there looking in the mirror crying to himself. Okay? So I just really want you guys to be mindful of that and know that God can still use you. And you are David and I am David, and we are a generation of Davids. But what are we going to choose to do with it? So I just pray that this touches you guys. I love you guys. Leave me some comments. Let's start a conversation. Talk to you guys later. Bye.